Hey everyone, it's Coach Tara B, and I just want to come to you today with my first segment of my 5-day series on building strong, healthy relationships. And today I'm going to be talking to you about building a solid foundation. Have a small disclaimer. My husband's over here getting ready to make dinner, so I'm out on the back patio and he is following. He is getting the grill ready. So, anyways, I digress. But I wanted to quickly talk to you about building a solid foundation. And hello. I wanted to start off with 3 things that I believe are important, and that is trust, honesty, and communication. Whenever you're building a solid foundation, and the reason I say that is because when you're starting out any type of relationship, you're starting it out, and you have to get to know someone, but that person also has to get to know you. Hi, Joan. How are you? Thank you for joining me. And part of that person getting to know you is those 3 pillars, and those 3 pillars, like I said, are trust, honesty, and communication. And so when I talk about trust, what I'm saying when I'm saying trust is you trusting in them and them trusting in you, but you have to build upon that. And that's where building that solid foundation comes from. Because you can't start building on your foundation or on your relationship unless you trust each other, unless you start establishing that trust. But you have to give someone reason to trust you. You have to be a person of integrity. You have to be, when you say you're going to do something, you have to do it. You have to follow through. When you it's a little loud, but it's okay. When you go ahead, honey. When you say you're going to do something, do it. When you say you're going to be somewhere, be somewhere. If you can't be there, then call. But trust is hard. It's easy to gain, but when you lose it, it's hard to get back, because most women in particular are easy about giving their trust, but once you lose that trust, it's extremely hard to get back. And then that's where that foundation can be shaky. That's where it doesn't begin right. That's where questions are in the air. That's where there's uncertainty. So starting out with ensuring that you're building that trust and you're working on that trust daily and constantly, especially when you're in the midst of a new relationship, is so important and so pivotal. The second one I want to talk about is honesty. I cannot tell you how important honesty is, because honesty really lets someone know where you stand and how you feel about them. Because if you're not honest with people, it's just like you can just tell them whatever you want. They'll believe me, they'll think whatever they want, and that's not true. And so it goes back to building that trust, because it talks about your integrity. It talks about how you are and who you are. And so if you want someone to be honest with you, you have to be honest. Connection. There we go. Talk about your feelings. Say, be honest and upfront, and be verbal. If there's something that you're uncomfortable with, or something that you don't like, say that there's something that's going on that you're uncomfortable with. Don't just go along to get along. Having those honest conversations at the very beginning, being truthful, being honest, goes such a long way, because then you can reflect back and know that this is where it all began. I was honest, I built trust, and trust and honesty go hand in hand, and that's about building that foundation. When you start off with an unstable foundation, it's like it's weak and it's shaky, and it's not likely to last, in all honesty, because then it's like, well, what do we have here? We don't really have anything, because no one was honest, and there was no honesty, and there was no truthfulness in it. So why am I here? Why do I want to continue with this? Why do I want to invest in this if it doesn't even start off on a solid foundation? And that's what we have to remember. And the last point that I want to make is communication. Communication all ties together. It's like tying one big bow on it. It's so important to communicate, because if you cannot have honest conversations and speak your truth in the very beginning of a relationship, when you're establishing that, you're never going to be able to do it later down the line. You have to be able to be truthful, you have to be able to be honest, and you have to be able to speak your truth. You have to stand in that, you have to understand that, and you have to be willing to stand up for yourself. Talk about how you feel, how you don't feel, but you have to be able to communicate. And when I say communicate, I say that you need to be able to say it with love, say it with appreciation. You can't be one of those type of people, especially when you're building a relationship and it starts off like everything has to be my way, or everything has to, everything that I say, it has to go excuse me, a certain way. That's not how it is, because it takes two people in any relationship. It's a joint effort. It's, if it's a man and a woman and a woman, a man, it doesn't matter. It's a joint effort. And so you have to learn how to communicate. You have to be truthful with your feelings. You have to have those courageous conversations. Sometimes they're uncomfortable, sometimes they're unpleasant, and then, but in the end, you get a lot more done and a lot more said, and people have respect for you because you were honest and upfront with them, and you were able to communicate your needs. You were able to set some boundaries. You were able to establish your values. And those are things that need to happen when you're building a relationship. And you want to build that on a solid foundation, because, like I said, without a solid foundation, you don't have anything. You just have some gravel and some rocks. And it's like trying to build a house with poor materials and think that it's going to withstand a storm, and it's absolutely not going to happen. Anything that comes through can blow it right over, and you're done with. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about today, is on how it is to build healthy, strong relationships, starting out by building, hey Rafina, by building a, a strong foundation. And it has to be, you have to start that out by building that strong foundation. And I will recap just quickly: truth, trust, honesty, and communication. If you can't have those things when you're building, when you're starting your relationship, it's not likely to last. Not likely to last. So I want to thank you for joining me today. And I also want to tell you that I'm going to be posting the link in my Instagram page as soon as I get off this, and it's going to be for you to go and download a freebie, and it's called Relationship Essence. And it's some questions that you can ask, that you can do with your mate, and evaluate your relationship, where you guys are at. Because some people may be in the building process, but they also could be along in their relationship, and they just kind of have some questions. They don't know, but they don't know where to start, how to have those courageous conversations, which is one of the things that I said about communication. So if you're interested, click the link, download it, and you're off and running. So thank you for joining me. Be sure to come back tomorrow, approximately the same time, 6 o'clock Eastern, and I will be talking about, tomorrow my subject is going to be he or she cannot make you happy. He or she cannot make you happy. How many times have we thought that someone else could bring us joy and happiness? It's not going to happen. So, thank you. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.